We are Yom.
We are Yom.
We were founded to solve the two hardest challenges to cloud gaming, cost and speed. Our solution was to build a decentralized GPU network focused on eliminating latency and drastically reducing costs. This is what we've done. Yom has built the first game-focused decentralized network that allows AAA games to be playable on any screen through your web browser. We now have the technology on which to build the 3D internet, with immersive e-commerce, 3D social media, virtual events, and so much more beyond cloud gaming. Come find out more at www.yom.oo. We are Yom, the game-focused decentralized network empowering the world's creative future.
Hello, welcome everyone with another episode of the Immersive Internet. Today we have as a guest Nick Hill. You are co-founder and head of interactive at Sawhorse Productions, if I'm correct.
Yep, that's me.
I'm stoked to be nice here. To have you here, Nick. I think. Oh, nice. Cool, awesome. And as my co-host, I have Jeff Outlaw again, our CXO. Nice to have you joining as well, Jeff.
Thanks. Hi, Nick. Nice to meet you.
Likewise, nice to meet you guys. I'm excited for this opportunity to chat.
Yeah.
Nice, awesome. There's a little bit of lag at my end, so I hope the people joining us don't have that as much. But I guess we'll manage. So yeah, nice to have you. Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Nick Hill, co-founder and head of interactive at Sawhorse. And essentially, Sawhorse is an agency that tells brand stories. We've been around for about 13 years. We started telling brand stories in the video space, the social media. And we've since, in the pandemic, moved into making interactive, immersive storytelling for brands. So building on UGC gaming platforms like Roblox and others, and really trying to tell these brand stories in a more immersive and engaging way than traditional advertising.
Cool. That's really interesting. So, of course, there was like social media. That trend was, I guess, start innovative for brands, and now with all these UGC experiences platforms, that's like a similar kind of wave or a new way of thinking for brands, or not.
Yeah. I mean, there's a parallel between the, like the Web 2 revolution, when all of the branded content was coming out, all the YouTubers were coming online, all the influencers were getting involved, and brands were trying to figure out, well, how do brands show up on these platforms in authentic ways, and how do they reach audiences there? So there was a lot of need for like short form content, short form video. And brands figured that out, and now they do it every single day, and it's second nature for them. And the same revolution is happening in like the Web3 space and metaverse, UGC gaming, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. Brands can now show up in these spaces in organic and natural ways, and they have a lot of control over the type of experiences they're building, and they're reaching these new audiences. And one interesting thing is, one of our clients at NBCU said something that I thought was fascinating. She was basically saying that a lot of the animated films that come out today, when they're trying to reach younger audiences, they can't reach them on TV because younger, kids are not watching TV. They can't reach them on social media because they're almost too young to have a social media account. So where they are is places like Roblox. So having a Roblox experience to promote the film is kind of the only real place they have an opportunity to reach and engage with young audiences, which is awesome. And that's the space that we're building in.
That's super interesting. Well, that's very interesting that you mentioned this. This is like the first use case we're going into, but that's crazy, right? So used to be like you see ads on TV or ads on social media, and then to think about like these channels that they don't have any impact anymore, basically, for these kinds of audiences. That's really crazy. It's weird to think about for me. I'm yeah. That
Yeah,
really
and I think
requires
there's
like
a
a new
trend
way of thinking.
where 100%, and I think there's a trend of younger people that sort of crave interactivity. They grew up as gamers, and they grew up, interacting with the media they consume. Like, even look at social media; they have the ability to like, dislike, comment, follow. So they're so used to, having control and some interactivity in what they consume. So that's a trend that we're moving into. So, like, traditional sort of top-down media is going to have challenges in the future. And so I think brands that really want to reach and connect with young audiences, they have to do it in more engaging, immersive ways.
Nick, have you given much thought to what happens after we clearly see the thesis, right? Where these are where kids are because they're not watching TV and they're not, you got to reach them where they are. But as they age up, do you have a thought about where that goes? Does it stay with Roblox? Does it go someplace else?
Yeah, that's a great question. One thing to keep in mind is that the Roblox platform is aging up, which is not so much older people coming into Roblox, but it's the young people as they get older, they're staying on Roblox. And Roblox itself, as a platform, is maturing. So yeah, you can run around and do sort of, younger kid games, but the sort of social engaging experiences continue to improve and evolve. So my perspective on that is I don't see a lot of people leaving UGC gaming. If you think about gaming in general, like, I think something crazy like 70% of the world population identifies as a gamer. Like, everything from like hardcore AAA stuff to someone playing Candy Crush, in between meetings or whatever. Everyone associates themselves as gamers, and I think that I don't think people are abandoning these platforms as much as you might think.
No. I think I guess I would kind of agree, and you're right that that's a massive. The idea that the generation that's coming up, my generation and below, I suppose, I was like, I might be a little bit older than you, but even if I got in, I kind of late. But the idea that games are really the place that people are socializing. And my son, he talks to his friends. We recently moved, and he stays in touch with all of his friends just because they play games together. Right, that's how he socializes. So getting out of games into socialization and all those other aspects, I think we at Yam kind of agree with you that the whole idea of using interactive activities as a way to communicate with each other is just going to get broader and broader, even as people get older and older.
Totally. And if you think like the vision of the metaverse, if we want to go there and talk about that, right now we're so far from that actual vision, that was talked about in Snow Crash and Ready Player One. It's like when you get to that level of immersion where you're fully there, you can see it, you can feel it. It's just as real as having a conversation or an experience with somebody in real life. When we get to that point, I think you're going to see mass adoption, massive adoption of people of all ages, because it's so natural for people, because we're a species of people that love experiences. It's why you go on vacation. It's why you have friends and go do things in real life. Once the immersion of the metaverse gets to that level, everyone's going to be a part of it. We're not there yet.
No, so it's interesting because we talk about this a number of times on this broadcast, where that there was a big craze, say 2 or 3 years ago, metaverse craze. Everyone was trying to get into it. But in your looking back now and doing a postmortem on where it went and then where it stumbled, do you have a understanding or a thesis yourself about like how it was that it missed the mark early on? Which take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have to, unfortunately, a little blame Zuckerberg and Meta for jumping the gun a little bit. They, because they came out during the pandemic and basically said, the metaverse is here. We're renaming our company to Meta, and everyone's going to wear these headsets every day because it's awesome. And it just was way too early. Like, I have a lot of respect for Meta and what they've done with VR to push, the medium forward. But, to tell people that it's here now, you're going to love this experience, it was way too early. And I think then you see all these articles about how the metaverse is dead, right? Zuckerberg failed, all this, bullshit, in my opinion, because my perspective is the metaverse was never here. We've never really seen the true vision. And that's why, that term kind of has a bad rap. A lot of people don't want to say the word metaverse. Certainly brands do not really want to engage with it. Right. So for me, what we're doing and where we're building, I believe, is UGC gaming platforms. This is what makes sense to me more than like Web3 stuff and more than like metaverse stuff. It's right. These are social games that you can control and build and share. That's our closest thing. I think Roblox is the closest thing to the metaverse, and it's far off from the actual vision of it.
Right. Fair enough.
It's a starting point, right? So it's like the current phase of the metaverse, or it's, meeting each other as avatars in virtual spaces.
Totally. And it's, just a massive multiplayer online networked experience that's persistent, that you can do whatever you want in. Just the problem is the fidelity is super low. The technology is not quite there. There's all kinds of hurdles. But I mean, it's cool I've been involved in it for like the past 3 years, and it's cool to see the slow, upgrades and evolutions that are happening on the platform. And now it's trending and has there's going to be a lot more social features and more like social media related content feeds that are going to be baked into what's on Roblox. So it's really advancing quickly, and I'm very optimistic that Roblox and other platforms like Fortnite and Minecraft, maybe not Minecraft because they're pretty lo-fi, but I think we're all moving toward greater immersion, greater fidelity.
Yeah. We've talked often about how the tools that Unreal has made available, and then with the AI assistance, we've seen plenty of people bang on a game on a weekend, right? They've got a little bit of understanding of Unreal, and they can make themselves a game, over the weekend that they can just pump out. And then it becomes a matter of how do you distribute it, right?
Yeah. And I think that concept of co-creation is really exciting. And this is a new thing for us. I don't think we really know what that means, but if you can start building places for people to join and build inside. So the game and the core game loop involves co-creation, leveraging AI. So the game is you build a world and they build a world, and the worlds have to combine, and there's like a game that's built inside, and then half the players are building and half the players are playing, and it's all happening in real time. Like that to me is super exciting. I haven't seen a lot of examples of that yet, but I think over the next year, we're going to see a lot of that. And I know that the Roblox platform especially is starting to roll out more Gen AI tools, both in studio, and then I think later in this year or next year, it's going to have in-game Gen AI capabilities for users to build as they play.
Nice. Yeah, I go back to I don't know if you remember Gary's mod way back in the day that Half-Life had released, but
no, can you tell me about that?
Oh, Gary's mod was to build off the Half-Life engine, and they gave you all the pieces you could put around in just a big open space, a big arena, and you could put different all the enemies from Half-Life and all the guns from Half-Life. But you basically set up your own little scenario, and I'm pretty sure you could ship it over to your friends. Like you'd say about your scenario and send it over to a friend, and then Roblox obviously took that to the next level by having all these different interactions you can put into the game, and then. Like I said, I see it just kind of carrying further. But you're right. We share this thesis that user-generated content is going to be where you're going to see the most explosive growth in what will eventually become metaverse projects, right? It's a matter of can they all seam up together, crossing some of the other barriers like interconnectivity and standardizations.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Interesting. I have a question from Thomas Boudries. What are the top 10 UGC gaming platforms? Top 10 is quite a lot, I guess. But
I don't think you can name 10.
Yeah. Well, I think if you look at the numbers for monthly active users, it starts with Roblox at the top. It's massive. And then second is Minecraft as far as user base. And then you've got Fortnite. And then coming like Sims is next after that. And then another up and coming platforms that are getting a lot of heat right now are Zepeto and Rec Room. And then it starts to like,
that's
the
VR,
numbers
right?
really start to go down. But then you're like Decentraland, the Sandbox, and I'm probably forgetting a couple others. There's a lot of exciting small ones that are coming about.
Right.
Cool. Interesting. But what of course, I choose some experiences that Sawhorse has created, and I see a lot of Roblox. I couldn't find like really quickly something on Fortnite. So is there like so what's the reason for Roblox over Fortnite or other platforms?
Yeah, I think going back to the original thing that we chatted about, how Roblox is the best version of the metaverse. You know, it's the, you can do the most with it right now. If brands come to us and they want to make an impact in the space and their goals are around reach, you know, how do we reach a lot of people and how do we control and build something engaging? Roblox is the best tool for that, period. It's got, I think, 76 million daily active users, which is insane. It's got the largest user base. And the tool is old. You know, Roblox has been around for something like 15 years or something. And it started as a UGC platform from day one. You know, essentially it was like this concept of like, come here and build and play and share. You know, so from day one, they were like, just make whatever you want and make it and share it. And so it's had 15 years to develop that community, that UGC community, and the platform and the tools to be able to create exactly what you want. So, you know, it's been around the block, and it's I can do what is in the brand's head, and I can roll it out, and it can be seen by a lot of people. You know, you look at something like Fortnite, which right now we are in an R&D development project on a creative island that we're going to roll out over the next few months, but it's just a more primitive tool. Like, yes, it's leveraging Unreal and UFEN, which is awesome, and the fidelity is much higher. But as far as like the level of customization that you can do within the experience you're building is really primitive. And I'm bullish on the platform. I know it's going to get there, but it's hard to create a UGC game and do exactly what you want with it because the tools just aren't there yet and the numbers aren't as big. So I think the one thing also, it comes down to the audience. You know, who is the brand trying to reach? You know, sometimes if you're trying to reach like a Web3 community, or if the brand is like alcohol or gambling of some sort, like you might want to be on a Web3 platform like Decentraland or Sandbox and reach a specific audience. So, you know, it's all different use cases, but, you know, it's the common denominator seems to be Roblox. And it's certainly what all the brands who come to us, that's the first thing they say is like, how do I get it on Roblox?
Okay, it's interesting because you, if I'm correct, you have a background as a filmmaker, and Sawhorse. I saw a lot of beautiful commercial work as well. So, yeah, how do you bring those filmmaking, that filmmaking experience also in this space?
Oh yeah, totally. You know, for me, it's just creative storytelling. You know, we started as filmmakers, telling brand stories in video form. So it's really about just being creative and figuring out like, what world are we building and what story are we telling? And to do that in a linear way is a little limiting because you just have a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end. And when you make a video product, once people watch that once, it's done. They have a reaction to that, and then they move on. And now building those stories in three-dimensional interactive worlds that are persistent, that people can come back to, kind of takes that creativity and just opens the floodgate. So it's really interesting. A lot of our team members come from the traditional film world. So like directors, creative directors, art directors, VFX artists, editors, producers. So now instead of just telling brand stories in a 2D linear fashion with video form, now they have so much more control to be creative and build these persistent worlds and develop story over time and engage with audiences. So for me, it's just taken that creativity and like supercharged it.
Cool. That sounds awesome. I have a question here from Pablo. Let me see. So what do you know about Roblox as an e-commerce platform? Is there any timeline for making that platform available for everyone?
Yeah, that's a great question, because we can go back to the ROI question that brands have. You know, if they're going to invest money in the Roblox or UGC gaming platforms, the question is like, why? Why are you doing that? You know, I think the top of funnel response is it's brand awareness, which is great. You know, you put your brand there, you got millions of people engaging with it. That's valuable. But I think a lot of brands are now looking at it to be like, well, how do I make money here? Or how does this translate to actual sales? So there's a lot of demand for like e-commerce and attribution, you know, like, or can we just let the people know about a product and then make sure that they're going to buy that product, whether it's on or off platform? So that's a huge demand that's coming from the industry right now. And e-commerce, Sawhorse was the first company to work with our client, Walmart,
Walmart,
to
yeah.
yeah, to bring e-commerce. It was a test and learn moment. We worked closely with Roblox. It was a special permissions technology that we had developed together. It was only available for a short time, and it was great. So people were buying real life items. They came with a digital twin, so that you could have that digital twin equipped to your avatar, and it was really successful. And I know that Roblox over time it wants to roll out as much of this e-commerce as possible. I know that Walmart partnered with the Elf experience and did the same type of thing with a few different makeup products with Elf. So it's just a matter of time until this becomes widely available on the platform. But as of right now, it's sort of still in a test and learn phase.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we'll get into that in a second, because I also choose the Walmart discovered use case. Yeah, let's get right into it with the first use case. So, and this is the new Kung Fu Panda movie. I think it's part 4 already.
Yep.
Yeah. So how do you market? So I find this very interesting. I'm a big movie buff, so I go often to the cinema. So how do you approach this? Like, you want to get these younger audiences in the cinema. I think also, yeah, I think that's also a little bit of a thing right now, right? So that less people go to the cinema. So yeah, what's your approach to get them into the cinema seats, basically?
Yeah, I mean, you look at this Kung Fu Panda project that we did. You know, the goal was just straight up awareness for this movie. Like, how do we reach these younger audiences and get them excited about this film so that they can basically bug their parents and go to the theater on the weekend and watch this movie or stream it when it becomes available. And so our perspective is, you know, how can we build and design a game that's going to be really fun and engaging and also like additive, you know, where users can actually gain something. That's the one thing I don't like about traditional advertising is it's often intrusive and not additive. If you look at like the way a commercial will come on TV, it's like no one's asking for that commercial, and it's there, and you have to, you know, either watch it or you can turn the channel, whatever. But what I love about these 3D immersive UGC gaming platforms is users are opting in to the experience. They're making a choice to do this. Once they're there, they have expectations of being entertained and having fun. And there's also, I love to talk about the value that you get, because not only did they get that entertainment for free, Roblox is a free platform, but they also, there's all these great UGC items, you know, avatar items that they can unlock for their engagement and participation that then they own, and they can wear that item both in this experience or any experience on Roblox. We also were the first to give away a free emote. So it was, you know, an animated dance move.
You thought of that. That was your
Yeah.
creation.
We gave that's the move right there. You saw the guy, he does a flip.
Oh.
It's Poe's skadoosh move, if you're familiar with the film. But yeah, so we gave away 1 million of those free UGC emotes, and you had to complete certain tasks in the game to unlock that. So users came to this game, they had fun, they got free stuff, they got excited. It's leveraging, trends of game designs that work on the platform. It's an obstacle course, or AKA obby,
Yeah.
and it performed extremely well. It's something like, I don't know, 16 or 17 million visits in a few weeks,
Crazy.
with long engagement time. Like, I think it was somewhere between like around 10 minutes of engagement time. So users, and they kept coming back to experience it. So if you think about like that amount of engagement, it's just so valuable. We also got a ton of like earned media because the users were so excited to be in this experience. They were recording videos of like how to unlock the emote, or showing off their moves and showing off the cool art that's in this game. And then they put those videos on social media. So the amount of impressions you get from like a flywheel perspective was like in the millions as well. So you add all that up, and just the impact that this project had was massive. And there was an article that came out in Variety that I was quoted in, just talking about how these animated films, they have to be advertising on Roblox, and the ones that do perform better at the box office.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow. So how do you come up with that idea of the emote, right? Or that's the dance move, or the
Yeah.
or the
Well,
meme
that came straight from the film. So from the franchise, it's this move right here that we're seeing.
Oh yeah.
So it's a big crazy move that Poe does, the character, and ends with a skadoosh. And it's kind of like a known thing for that franchise. And so we just watched all the films and kind of gravitated toward that and said, let's make that move. And the studio loved the idea, and then we just animated it. So it's just so relevant. So fans were like, "Oh, I've seen it a few times in these movies. I love this. I want that for my avatar."
And that's like a feature that Roblox they programmed it in to do that.
Yeah. So
Especially
yeah. So emotes are on the platform. You can buy emotes right now. Certain brands do them. There's not that many actually. So it's a real opportunity for brands. And this was the first time one was given away for free, so earned.
Hmm.
So by doing certain tasks, you actually got the emote. So that was the first time that happened.
We got a question from a couple questions stacking up in the audience, but this one's pretty good. Excuse me. Can you track the data of players in the experience after it's launched? Do you adjust the game based on player data? You get like heat mapping and all those kinds of things?
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's the big difference, and the big learning curve for me, coming from the traditional video world, is once you release a video, you're done, and people just react to it, and you can't change it. What's great about software products and interactive products is they're live, they're persistent, and you can set up all kinds of custom data hooks to study whatever you want. Like how long are like you said, heat maps, where are they going? Or what type of activities are they engaging in, or how long are they staying in those specific activities. You take all the data back and you're like, wow, this isn't working, this is working. Then you can start to make some tweaks and push updates like on a daily basis, even several times a day. And then it's cool because you can really see the weaknesses, you can tweak it and then continue to study, and then you can really see improvements and solutions. So it's like always a work in progress. Oftentimes, a lot of these brand experiences are sort of like pop-ups. Like they'll only be up for like a few weeks. So there's only so much you can do in a scenario like that. But
Right.
A lot of these experiences are persistent. Meaning that they're up all the time. Like they have live ops attached to them, and there's they'll be up for a year, 2 years, 3 years. And those are the real opportunities to take the learnings and then make those big changes and see the positive impact it has on the experiences.
All right. We had another question too. Someone asked us, as a parent and being aware of the youthful population inside of Roblox, do you think they do a good job of policing it against people who might do inappropriate behavior inside of Roblox and take advantage of the young population?
Yeah, I think Roblox has a really good reputation for being a safe place for kids. There's a ton of moderation that's happening. So every time anyone who's making something, it has to pass very stringent moderation protocols. So essentially, like, you can't upload things that would be harmful in any way, derogatory. They're so good at that often my team, we get blocked and banned all the time just because something gets misunderstood, and they err on the side of caution, which
Right.
I think is good. So like, there's not a lot of toxic stuff that's showing up on the platform. And on top of this, they have like real-time moderation. So for like in the text chat or like the voice chat, they're also leveraging AI for that to basically like moderate in real time what people are saying and make those corrections. And there's all kinds of other protections in there as far as like, you can't put an address, you can't put a phone number, you can't put a website. Right. It automatically just blocks that stuff out. So, I haven't heard many negative stories about kids, experiencing things that have been toxic or bad. I'm sure it's happened. And obviously it's a massive platform. It's a huge number of people. But I think as a platform, they do a fairly good job of policing that and trying to keep it safe.
Yeah, interesting question. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. This is a music artist. Yeah, I haven't heard her music, but Olivia Rodrigo she has her own Roblox world. So this is also an interesting trend. Also from the last years, I've seen also some music performances, of course, on Fortnite. Some of them are very famous with the famous rapper. I forgot his name, but
Eminem did the Fortnite.
Oh yeah,
concert.
Exactly. Yeah. So and also on other platforms, there's also this platform called Wave. They also they're very focused on music experiences. So that's also interesting. So this is like a new way of for artists to interact with their fans. So that's also interesting. What's the story behind this activation or experience?
Yeah, so this is for Olivia Rodrigo, an opportunity to promote a new album and kind of give this interactive experience for her fans. This was like really fun to work on. I think the music industry is in a place where they're trying to figure out like how to show up in these UGC gaming platforms. And I think there's two really interesting ways you can do it. You mentioned the concert for Eminem. There's been a lot of concerts. It kind of started concerts for the music industry. Concerts were like the go-to. The first one on Roblox that happened during the pandemic that made massive waves was Lil Nas X, which performed extremely well and like broke the internet during the pandemic. And then shortly after, I think Travis Scott did one on
Travis Scott.
Fortnite.
That was
Those are the big moments. And then we made one for Elton John on Roblox, which also performed well. Cool. But the thing about those concerts is they're costly and they're time consuming, because it's basically you're making a whole concert with choreography, like the art direction, the whole thing. You got to clear all the music rights. It's a lot of work. And so a lot of brands and from the music industry and artists are looking for lower lift ways to show up and still make an impact. And this is a great example of that. There's no concert attached to this. This is just an immersive world that is all inspired by Olivia, her music videos, all her art direction, and a place for fans and super fans to collaborate and play and watch and kind of like dive deeper into fandom and in her brand. And so a lot of artists are looking to do more experiences like this. And we're experimenting on sort of game designs and social gaming designs that these artists can leverage. And I'm trying to draw the comparison to like social media accounts that these artists have. Like they have social followings. And those are persistent, meaning that they have a strategy throughout the year that they're communicating with their fans via social media, and they're giving access, and they're looking at it from a long-term persistent perspective. We want to see the same thing happen on these UGC gaming platforms, where music artists have like a hub or some sort of persistent area that they can communicate with their fans that are in the UGC gaming platforms, share what they're doing, go behind the scenes, and kind of like reach that and tap into that audience. We haven't seen a lot of that, but I think that's the direction that we're moving in for the music industry.
It would be interesting as an artist, if an artist can show up as their avatar, and that you can have this virtual meet and greet kind
100%.
of experience.
And what's interesting is Roblox is looked at as a younger platform, and there's a lot of artists that don't play Roblox or don't understand it, so they're a little apprehensive. It's not like normal for them to jump in and play Roblox, but those celebrities that do love it, and it has major impact. One of our clients is Paris Hilton. We built Living Land, and she goes in to her experience all the time, and unannounced, and she's there. And if you happen to be in the server with her, like all the fans just freak out. She just talks to them. She just it enjoys that experience, and it's amazing for the fans, and it's just really exciting.
Cool. Yeah, this is some video footage of that. Really interesting how how you can build up communities or interact. So what I'm looking at exactly? I see someone with a beard. I see a lot of gold.
Yeah, this is cool. There's a lot to unpack with the Paris Hilton project. This is a commercial that we made, fully computer generated animated commercial that was based on the real life commercial. So this is a 30-second television spot that was also shown on socials, but it's live action. And what we did is we did 100% shot for shot recreation of that commercial, but with Roblox characters. So I wish we could look at the side-by-side video, because you could see everything is exactly the same. All we did was change the characters from humans to Roblox versions. What's interesting is that this was for Hilton hotels, and it's just a awareness campaign for joining Hilton Honors and making people aware of the brand. So they did this massive push on traditional media, broadcast and social. So that video got shown all over there. And then we added one layer to that, which we made the sort of the metaverse or the Roblox version of that commercial. And we put that commercial, our version, in the top games on Roblox. So as we just ran that as a video billboard within other people's experiences. So it got like a ton of impressions, and it was a way to take a campaign that was already performing well and amplify it even further in this new space. And I want to see more brands doing that, but it's kind of a foreign concept to them. But this is proof that it works.
And Hilton Honors is what is that exactly? Is that the name of the Roblox experience, or is that?
No, that's a loyalty program that exists in the real world. So if you stay at a Hilton and you're in the Hilton Honors program, you get perks and you get free stays and you get all that stuff. So it was just trying to, the campaign was to raise awareness and drive users to sign up. And what's really interesting about this is, within our experience, we were able to motivate more signups. So we just talked about this video component and how we use that to gain awareness and impressions. But it was also driving traffic to Paris Hilton's experience, which is Living Land. And once you were there was a challenge where users could go on a scavenger hunt inside her world. And then the next step, they were asked to go to Hilton's Honors and sign up for an account. So then everyone did that. They went off platform. I think we drove something like 30,000 new accounts for Hilton Honors. Then the users came back into Roblox, and because they did that user journey, they unlocked a free UGC of these Harajuku like art antlers for their avatars. And so it was like, from a marketing standpoint, we're able to like get the awareness and then get the conversion, all because of her presence on the platform.
Cool. So we have a question from Marco Morales. Is, by the way, is very. We've done a lot of events with the LinkedIn community, so that's really cool to see him again. So I've played in Quest using a Roblox bridge to experience Roblox in VR. Can you talk about this initiative?
Yeah, so we've done a few. We've converted a few of our experiences to VR. Roblox. One thing I love about Roblox is it's got this massive reach. It works on so many different devices. You could have like a phone from 5 years ago with a shitty internet connection, and you can run the Roblox experiences. You can have a brand new PC that's a super crazy gaming PC. It also runs it. It's also on the major platforms like Xbox and PlayStation. And now recently, I think within like a year ago or so is when it came out on Meta. So you can just download the Roblox app on Meta. You can experience any experience that's optimized for VR. You can jump in and experience. We've optimized a few of ours for VR. But the thing I would say that is the big problem is when you design a game or an experience, there's a big difference between designing it for PC and mobile versus virtual reality. Like it's a whole different psychological strategic design. So a lot of things that work really great as fun games on mobile, once you easily, if you just flip that into VR, once you're in there, it's not that fun. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not, it doesn't work.
I can imagine, because obstacle course, for instance, that's a very popular format, right?
Yeah.
I imagine that it's because it's easy to do on a phone, right? The obstacle, jumping around, and
So it's like, but VR is awesome medium. It's just a different way to design. So it's, as far as like a scalability, it's hard to make one game and just make it available. Like, oh, it's in AR, it's in VR, it's in 2D, it's in 3D. It's like, it doesn't check all the boxes. I can think of few games that perform well across all of those things. I think when you design for VR, you just keep VR in mind. You know, for instance, like I heard about one game, I haven't played it, but it was a VR Roblox game where it was available to VR users and standard users. And you can basically pick which side you're on. And if you're a standard user, you're running around and trying to like avoid being attacked by these massive giants with these massive hands. And the giants are the VR users. So when you go into VR, it's fun to like try to attack people like this, you know, and that design works for them. And then on the flip side, if you're not in VR, you're just trying to survive and, you know, like crawl around with these giants. So that's a good example of how you kind of check both boxes.
Cool. Interesting. Very interesting comment from Helena. I think it also offers the opportunity for artists to interact with their friends in a spontaneous way without security concerns. That's a very valid point, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Marco says, or asks, have you looked into generative AI fit tools to Robloxize existing videos directly into the Roblox style? Stable Diffusion, Gen 3, etc.
Yeah, we do some VR or some AI, Gen AI projects. One of the problems is just from a legal rights perspective, almost all of these language models are trained on, you know, IP that they didn't clear. So in order to properly stand behind it, it gets tricky when you have these large brands looking at like what tools were used to make this. So we tend to kind of do a lot of bespoke stuff from scratch. Like this was not used, we didn't use any language models to build what we're seeing here. But as that becomes more prevalent and as, you know, these legal rights get figured out, we'll probably be leveraging it a lot because it's faster and cheaper, obviously.
Interesting. Well, let's get into the next one. So this is also interesting. It's a bit of a sidestep. There's like an AR experience, so it's a little bit out of Roblox, but it's also connected to a lot of stuff on Roblox. So but let's start with the AR stuff. Very interesting. This is very recent, right? The AR.
Yeah, this just came out. So this is attached to our experience Walmart discovered on Roblox, which essentially is a game. It's a utility on the platform. It was built because discovery is not amazing on Roblox. It's hard to find new games. It's hard to find specific UGC. So when we worked with Roblox, or sorry, when we worked with Walmart, we decided to build an experience that would help the community. It's for the community, by the community. They can suggest UGC items and games that they like and they want to share, and users can come there and they can discover stuff that they wouldn't have otherwise. And it's performed extremely well. It's been out for about a year, I believe, maybe a little bit longer. So that's what that project is. And this AR experience is just an extension of that. And one of the reasons why we wanted to do it is we want to offer users a better experience for finding things. And if you think about like UGC items, oftentimes you're looking at them in a 2D fashion. So you're looking at a flat screen and you're looking at, you know, this jacket or something. There's limitations on fidelity and how you experience that. So we wanted to bring this AR experience to life so that users could examine those items in augmented reality. So they could step inside that world and they can walk around the items and spin them around and like get more information and like have that be more valuable to them. And it's got a ton of engagement, and yeah, it's just it's a fun way to go off platform and offer the users even more experience. And one fun thing we did is we worked with one of our partner companies, Flaunt, to connect a verification process. So those users who went to this AR experience and completed some tasks were able to achieve a badge. And when you go into Roblox, it verified that you have the badge, and then we gave you free UGC items for that participation.
Oh, cool. And how do people get into this AR experience? So they scan like a QR code. So
Yeah, so this is also part of the Roblox monthly gift cards. So there's Walmart Roblox gift cards that you can purchase, and then when you do, there's a QR code there, and when you verify it, there's also a link that will take you to this experience that you can experience on your phone.
Cool. I love this. This is really literally bridging like the real world to the virtual world. Like I see a woman go into this portal. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just more layers of immersion and interactivity. You know, it's just more fun marketing.
Cool. So let's get into the next part of the Walmart Discovered experience. So this is this was also like a first, I believe, right? So selling real world items through Roblox, correct? Or
yep, that's correct. So this was the first time e-com came to the platform that you could buy within the experience, not having to go outside of Roblox at all. And what it was cool because the Roblox community, they're very nice people. It's got a very positive vibe, but they will downvote your experience if they don't like it. If they feel like they're being exploited or marketed too hard, like you have to be mindful of the people that you're marketing to or stepping into. So when we first thought of bringing e-com to the platform, we wanted to just be very careful that we did it in a way that the community would receive well and not reject. And so, you thought about the idea of like, oh, let's just open the floodgates so anyone can buy anything they want on Walmart. But it's like, who's buying toilet paper on Roblox? Like that has no relevance. And we really wanted to approach this in a way that made sense. So we partnered with 3 UGC creators from the Roblox community, and we shared a bunch of items with them. And we asked them like, what would users on this platform actually want? What can they afford, and what was relevant to them? So they helped identify these 3 items that you're looking at here. So it was the selection process, and then they created their inspired versions of those items, for a UGC perspective. So they, like you're seeing here, like the headphones, they look a little bit different. It was like that UGC artist's take on that. So we just identified those 3 things that made sense. The community got behind it. And then we released it, and it performed really well. Like it was not rejected. And that was one thing we we're
like
really
a coffee
proud of.
can, like a coffee can, a headphone, and a bag, right?
Yeah,
Or
exactly. Yeah. And the community was cool with it, and it performed well, and it was a great first step into ecom, because I think opening the floodgate, I don't think anybody wants that yet. We have to figure out how to roll this out in a way that's relevant to the audience and additive. But yeah, this is just a first sort of test and learn moment that we did, and we anticipate a lot more ecom moving forward.
I like this question from Pookie. It's very interesting. It's certainly an aesthetic of its own. Do you anticipate creating furniture or goods for the real world which look and feel Robloxian?
That's a great question. And, if you asked me that like 2 years ago, I would say no. Looking at the Roblox, art aesthetic, it's kind of lo-fi, and it's kind of like a little primitive. And my initial instinct was like, oh, they just need to improve their fidelity. It needs to look more realistic, and it will. But if you talk to any Roblox user, especially the big fans that have been around for a while, they gravitate toward the simple look. They're doing that by choice. They can make those avatars look way more realistic, but they don't want to. So they're leaning into that aesthetic. And so I think younger audiences they like it. So yes, I could see a world where, those younger fans, as they age up and start to buy furniture, they might want blocky looking, simplistic stuff. I could definitely see. It's not that far-fetched to imagine that.
Cool. All right, so let's get into the last experience. So this is Fenty, a beauty product experience. I've also seen this with other online events we did. There were also quite a lot of beauty products that we saw activations for. So yeah, what's the story about the Fenty experience?
Yeah, Fenty was great. They came to us wanting to be on the Roblox platform, wanted to show up authentically, and also wanted to bridge the IRL beyond just the experience. So the cool thing about this is we built this immersive world where users could go in and go on these scavenger hunts, and then they could also design their own gloss bomb. And it was sort of a creative process of them figuring out like the colors and the naming of the product and the packaging, and it was this co-creation moment where all these users came in and they built their version of it, and then they got voted on by the community. The top ones that looked the coolest, had the coolest names, and just had the right vibe, they kind of all got voted on. And then Rihanna got to step in and pick the one that she thought was the best. And then they actually manufactured that in real life and rolled it out in stores, inspired by that Roblox user. So that was just an amazing story of how you can engage an audience and then have that impact felt in the real world.
So so what was exactly designed by the user, like
a lipstick,
lipstick
called a gloss bomb, which is they have all these different gloss bombs, special. It's those sticks. You can see those sticks there. And users came in and they customized their own colors and textures and packaging and naming, basically what they would want to see. So there was just a cool co-creation moment that was really celebrated.
Interesting. And how many numbers, like how many visitors did this? Is it like a permanent world, or was this like...
Well, no, this was initially just a pop-up campaign. So I think it was up for around a month, and then they sunset. So it was just users had 1 month opportunity to participate, unlock the free UGC, create the gloss bombs, and then it went away. Then the winner was chosen and it rolled out. But they actually just came back to the platform, and we're working with them, and we revamped their experience, and we turned it into a bit more of a persistent game. And now we introduced Fenty hair that just came out in the real world. That's also reflected in our experience. And they're basically in phase 2 of their Roblox experience, and that should be up for a few more months. So anyone can search that and go to that experience right now on Roblox.
Cool. Really. So when you come up with this kinds of experiences, like, is it like for the most part just your own creative vision, or do you really listen to people on Roblox, or do you like look at other experiences, what they like, or what gets like a lot of votes, or how
Yeah,
does that really come
it's
together,
all of the
basically?
above. You know, it's this creative strategy that we take very seriously. There's so many brands that show up on the platform and they do it wrong, and it has that adverse effect. You know, they get downvoted, they get negative sentiment, and it doesn't work. So you really have to know what you're doing when you build these game designs. What I like to do is first just ask the client, like, what are your goals? What do you want to do? Let's just take 3 steps back. Like, what does good look like? You know, what are we trying to do here? And then our team goes back and we ideate around, well, what kind of experience can we build that's going to deliver on those goals? That we keep that in mind. From a creative standpoint, we don't even first think about game, like the trends that work on the platform. It's just, let's build an experience that is going to deliver on what the client wants. Then we look at what performs on the platform and what doesn't, and what the community likes and what they respond to, and kind of mechanics that are known. And we find a way to like merge that into the original creative idea. And I think what we come out with is these sort of like dynamic and unique experiences that perform well. You know, it's like there's a tendency for certain studios just to leverage game mechanics, you know, where they're like, oh, we'll just make a tycoon game because Roblox players like tycoons. And it's like, that's fine, but is that really true to the brand ethos? You know, like, are we pushing, you know, the metaverse forward? Are we pushing creativity? Because I think what we're building here is experiences. You know, these are not just games. You know, we have to think outside the box. Like, this is experiential marketing that's gamified. It's a new genre. It's just really exciting.
And I think, of course, with what's a tricky thing is you don't come there to see the brand, right? You come there for a fun experience first, I guess, or to do a
Yeah,
social for the
and that's
social
the
experience. Yeah,
totally, and that's the big difference that marketers need to understand. Is like, I think they're very used to creating, advertising that makes the brand look cool, and then they kind of just, from an intrusive perspective, get that out there and be like, look how cool we are, right? And that's worked for so long, but that doesn't really work on Roblox. You have to figure out, like, how can I build something that these people actually want to experience, and how can I give them something of value so that they want to be here and they enjoy it and they get something for their time. And that is so much better, in my opinion, because I feel like not only are you giving people what they want and it's additive to their lives, but it's also just more fun, and you get so much engagement. I mean, these people are spending 10, 20 minutes coming back day after day and really falling in love with the brand. It just has such stronger impact than a commercial.
nice. I really like that. I think that also extends, for the future in the metaverse, right? That's like the mindset people need to have, like experiences first, instead of pushing the brand, uh, making it very intrusive. So, yeah, it reminds me of the movie Ready Player One, as well, right? With the evil guy wants to get all the ads in your face, when he gets to power.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think that's the fun. That's what's so cool about this, is it's a new space, and there's no blueprint for it. And I get annoyed by ads that pop in my face that I don't want to see, that don't improve my life. I think I'm on this quest to make amazing experiences that people actually want to do, and make marketing and advertising cool and additive and just non-intrusive.
nice. I really like that. So, thank you so much, Nick. I really enjoyed this conversation. Awesome experiences. Really well done. Yeah. Keep it
How
up.
do you find out more about Sawhorse?
Yeah, I mean, people can just hit me up on LinkedIn. My name and information should be attached to this. or you could just go to our website, which is just sawhorsela.com. You can check out our experiences. You can check out our traditional media work as well. Yeah, just drop us a line.
Very good.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for your time. Really enjoyed it. Maybe in the future we can have you as a guest again.
I would love that.
Conversation.
Thank you for the
Awesome.
opportunity, you guys. This is really cool. It's a stimulating conversation.
Thanks,
Cool.
Nick.
Awesome. You're welcome.
Right on.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for
Listening, everybody.
joining. See you